So why don't you come a little bit closer? Hello, everybody. How are you doing? So good to see everyone. Thank you for being a part of this fabulous place we call home. And welcome, Soul Tribe, everybody. So speaking favor upon us all, and Bosto, be of service to others, and happy birthday if you got one, or anniversary. So, what's up, folks? Hey, Martin, Heidi, what's y'all? Good to see you. How y'all doing? Colleen, good to see you. David Castle, hello. Scotty Boy and Robert V is in the house. And Francis, good to see you, buddy. Nina the Mystic, how are you doing? Saw a little bit of your show last night. Lost in Space, good to see you, brother. D Maxwell, good to see you. Elder Berry, Marissa, what's up? Emperor Rex, Michelle, good to see you. D Chillin 99, what's up? Lynn, good to see you. To answer your question, Sophia and Barbelonia. I know what Barbelonia is in the Liber Lilith, and if you were to ask me, I would say yes. One and the same. Hey, Shannon, what's up? Good to see you, dear. Hello, Gaia and Paul. How are you? Much love. Giamatti, good to see you, hon. And Coyote Prophet, good to see you. Linda, hello. Gogo, Jennifer, how you doing, Jenny? Finally getting things caught up. Gonna be sending you an email, get you on. And Michael, good to see you. Julie. So it's Monday. Tuesday over in Australia, I believe. So we time travel all the time. And if you think about it, it's amazing that we're moving, our whole galaxy is moving like 1,000,000 miles a second. And it's weird. Hey, we are prospering. I am definitely prospering. My wife, Lynn, is prospering. We're in a state of prospering. We're thriving. And the Soul Tribe is prospering. And we got our two buddies. Depending, we have Spoil and Ariel. So, love these two. I know Al is still working on it. I think we're getting close. And speaking of Al has a friend named Jimmy Ships, I believe, Shipps. They're sending him home with pneumonia. I could comment on that, but I won't, because we're going to go the other way around. We're going to say that Jimmy is not going to die, that Jimmy is going to live, and that his body so desires to live. And we're going to speak healing to him. Lots and lots and lots of healing. And we'll just surround him with energy. That's what apparently his body needs and his spirit needs. He needs a recharge. So, Brother Al, we're putting it out there. Jimmy, we're just sending you healing thoughts, energy, the surrounding that body and permeating it just like you would do any light, cosmic rays, whatever, do it in the spirit. So there, Big Al, let us know. Hey, Crystal, good to see you. John Price, hello. Let's see. Jenny says for Jimmy to drink blackberry tea. So Big Al, I know you're listening along. So yeah, there we go. Kent Cook sent me an email, and I have been with Kent. Kent and we've been together in this thing, and he was in some pretty dire straits, folks. But he put the favor invocation into life. Necessity is the mother of all invention. And when you have a pressing need, it's amazing how real things can become. Anyway, here's the update. I'm happy to say that Kent Cook is prospering abundantly. He had his whole life has gone 180 degrees. He's with a company that just loves their employees. They put their employees first. Holy crap. A company that actually puts their employees first. That is a man who is walking in favor. That's all I got to say. He's making more money, making better benefits. And his whole situation is just turned around. That's the kind of energy that's here. And we love it. Love it a whole lot. So let me say what is this thing doing here? Give me 1 second. Oh, I know what it is. Yes. So we'll just put that right up there. And now the whole world is doing much better. I don't understand why the closed captioning. I think that's something I have to change on Zoom. Don't like it, but hey, because it's never that right. You know, could you imagine a person speaking in tongues in closed captioning? Let's see. See how that, I got to see how that plays that out. Let me just see. I want to see this. Just give me a second. You know, amuse yourselves. I'm watching this. So that's interesting to see how it translated that. Well, there's an experiment that we all can partake on. That was weird. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that. See what else going on. More feathers. 3 reports. Trina found a feather. 2 other people. And the one person who wrote about the pillow exploding in the dryer, that counts. I love the story. It was funny. Hey, ASB, what's happening? Grandpa Brian, good to see y'all. True Seeker, hello. Dar Smile. So anyway, yes, that counts. I mean, she said she was covered with feathers. Yeah. I just listen. You could just talk about how things happen to get to that point. So yeah. Did the angel pulling for the day. And the angel is Mahaliel. Excuse me. Mahaliel. There is the coin and fantastic sigil on this one. I think you would agree. That is just one cool sigil. Anyway, this is the angel of healing. I pulled this earlier this morning, so everything that's happened since then, it's amazing, the synchronicities. Deus Decalenus Malum, God who delivers from the evil. That's interesting because how that's translated, God who delivers from the evil. Not evil, but the evil. We're going to be getting into that today. Anyway, this is the patron angel of natural healers, herbalists, ecologists, doctors, pharmaceuticals, and scientists. Governs neuropathy, herbalism, and natural science. Cures mental and physical illness, disease, unhappiness, and all kinds of malaise, and supports in case of injury. Teaches how to use medicine with a conscience. Well, that's interesting. Taking medicine with a conscience. Need to write that down. There's some deep truth in that one. Teaches about properties and virtues of medical plants. I know a few people here that like those plants. All kinds of plants, by the way. Brings guidance in the realm of nutrition. Wow, pretty cool angel. Teaches how to take care of our health by exercising and eating healthy foods. Gives instruction how to cultivate. Helps to express our feelings easily. Symbol of divine abundance. Well, it's true, isn't it? If you got your health, you're the richest person around. Hands down. I've known a lot of billionaires, millionaires, miserable people. Many of them didn't have their health either. Knew one couple way back when I lived in Knoxville, delightful couple, but they were rich, really, really rich. And as I was sitting at the guy's bedside, and this came on in about 6 months. Both of them died, by the way. And I was with him the night that he was making the transition. And anyway, it's the point is, as he told me, he said, you know, Wayne, he said, he said, every penny we have, if I could just have 6 more months of when him and his wife were in health. Yeah. Deep, 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 deep. Fills with energy to protect the environment in respect of nature. I love this. Cures corrupt feelings and undertakings. Yeah. Anyway, cool angel, I would say. Oh, the adventures in life, folks. I mean, seriously. We're all going to get there. So we're into our study of demonology. I got to tell you, finish the book, and we're going to finish the book. I dig where this dude is coming from. He's given me a whole different perspective on demons, angels, spirits, entities, energy forces. The amazing thing is the debate of how much does free will, or let's just say not free, let's just take the word will. How much does that play a role? So I like science shows, and there was a topic on something that I thought was so interesting. Number one, the great avoidance, and more importantly, the great attraction that's taking place right now. We're in it. There is no saying, no, we're being, that's not, no, we're in it. And so I wanted to bring this out today because it fits so nicely into our discussion. So allow me, if I may, to, let me get rid of this real quick. Thank you. There we go. And that was, and then we'll get here because this is interesting. Because this is reality. On every spiritual level, on every physical level, this is reality. We're so narrow-minded on Earth. We really think that we're somehow the shits, man. Have you ever seen the movie The Watch? The British guy, I loved who played that. He says, man, we're the shits. Yeah. In other words, there ain't anything above us, man. But the problem is when you begin to realize the true reality that we never take into account in any of our studies, our spiritual studies, our esoteric studies, our occult studies, whatever it is. Yet the reality is that what you see on the left is what is heading for us. And if you believe in reincarnation or ascension, most likely you're going to be here to see this. Now, what happens is we don't know. We can't remember, and it's very difficult for us to see ahead. We have this block that we can't see 20% of the sky, the universe, and we can't see what's coming at us because we're at the tail end of the caboose with the Milky Way. We can't see through it, but what we can see is every one of these lights. These are galaxies, trillions and trillions of planets, most likely abundantly filled with life. So my question, ladies and gentlemen, are there demons there? Are there the same demons here, the same demons there, the same angels here, the same angels there? Come on. Seriously? Do you really believe that? That if an angel is here, that an angel can be an angel in there? Do you really believe that? Come on. It's time that we stop playing games here and the mysticism and begin to think about this, that there is life beyond life beyond life. Do you think that they all pray to Jesus in these other galaxies? Do you think they pray to Lucifer in these other galaxies? Do you think they make, invocations of the demons and, invoking the angels? Do you think they're doing that here? I mean, we can't see 20% of the known visible universe. So that's a pretty good gap, because it seems like someone placed us deliberately in a place in space where we're never going to be able to see it until it's too late. Weird, isn't it? So they call this the zone of avoidance. And even within our own spiral galaxy, which is really, it's oblong, again, you can see that we can't see what other galaxies are out there. We can see around it. We're starting to learn to penetrate the dust, but nevertheless, these are all known galaxies. And I think about this and I look at this and I ask myself, are they dealing with the same Jewish God, the same Hindu God, the same modern day gods that we got today? Is this really necessary? What spell dropped upon and took a big dump on Earth? Because if you're telling me that they are in the same place that we are, then this is truly hell. See, I think about what Magick plays in this. Where does the occult knowledge, the gnosis, come into this? Billions of galaxies, clusters. We're in a cluster, a huge cluster of galaxies. And I think about this. All right, so if someone's dying on one of these galaxies in a planet far, far away, are they going through the same thing that we do? Is it universal? Is there a universal spirituality that covers everything? I ask these questions because the more we begin to see what the galaxy, this plane of existence is, the more it gets stranger and stranger. Because you see, this is no doubt intelligent design. No doubt about it. There's no randomness to this. And then I have to think, all right, are we dealing with the same intelligence, the same intellect that created this? Do you really think it gives a shit about us? Gives a rat ass about anything? I mean, it created this. I mean, how gullible are we to really think a God would have the remotest? If it's a creator, folks, it's still creating. We're in the past. Now, the thing about this creating essence is that it keeps creating. But I ask, and what we have found out is that all these galaxies are converging into a river. I mean, that's the only thing you can describe this as. This is a kind of a artist's rendition of what's really taking place, but the very intense bright spots are the gathering points. And and you can see we're now being pulled rapidly into wherever, and it's called the Great Attractor. So my question becomes, is this what all spirits are doing? All demons? All God, Elohim, Yahweh, Yeshua, Lucifer, the devil? I mean, Lilith, I mean, is this really it? I somehow feel ashamed that I'm even enwrapped in some of this. Because when I look at this, is this what I don't see any of the gods, any of the pantheons, any of the occult, any of this mysticism equal to this. No one answers this. No one addresses this. Because this tells me we're being pulled into something that we have no power over. I don't care how much positive thinking you want to put into it, sister. It ain't going to change. And this is yet 10 billions of billions of years into the future. Yet we're moving at merely 1 million miles a second towards this. That's my rant for the day. I'm just saying, it's just some of the thoughts. Because at times, I just can't believe that our belief systems, the supposed gods, God, the creator, the supreme being, really? When I look at that, I go, how ridiculous is this? This is the crowning achievement of a species, that this is as far as it's gotten in its complete development. Yet, as we're about to go see, we're so stuck. We have fishing shoes on. That's what they called it in New Jersey. You know what fishing shoes are? They're concrete shoes. Because once you go into the river, baby, you ain't getting out. And I just sense that this is where we are. I mean, I get so fed up with this. And I got into a paper, a book, and it just shows how intelligent people can become so ignorant, but yet the ignorance is still widespread today. We're so trapped in good, evil, bad, nice, is it any wonder that a spirit that goes through this realm one time in this plane on this planet is not a psych case by the time it gets on the other side? I mean, the fact that we even survive this thing called duality, well, hell, we're champions. We are gods, because only a god can go through this thing and survive it. No angel, no demon, no mortal can go through this and survive it. The duality alone will crush your mental capacity of even reaching out beyond that which you can perceive to be real. There's more. And I got a sense that this same sense of frustration is being exhibited in tens of billions of other realities. Because no doubt they have their spiritual aspects of it. Now, some say that if it is all the one system, that reincarnation is the way of this system, but it's not here. We will spend infinity going through radiations of different planets, different species, different type of spirituality, different perspectives on spirituality. I think it's the only way it's done. Because one lifetime here is not enough to even begin to perceive the vastness of what we're a part of. And I refuse to be continued to drug down, but I have a book here. You'd lose your feathers. Okay. So I want to show you a book. And understand, I do not agree with the religiosity of the book, but I was there one time, so I can dig. This is called Satan, Prince of the World. It's written by a guy by the name of William Guy Carr back in 1955. And it was just interesting to read this saturation that once it gets into your perception of spirituality, it literally keeps you down, because the duality factor becomes a real mind coitus here. And in him, he writes about devil, the world, and the flesh. He talks about this sense of evil, which is interesting because that's what we're dealing with in demonology, is trying to figure out how this evil, number one, we found out already, to try to figure out where it originated from, how it got here is a fool's game. You're never going to find the answer. They're not going to allow it. But then you have this Abrahamic Judeo-Christian Islamic saturation. And once that gets in, that basically puts a cap on you. And it's unfortunate. This guy, he had some pretty good things going on. His son actually is the one who finished it. If you want it, it's in PDF. I would just caution you, it's heavy Bible. And but there are some interesting questions that he seems to be asking some 66 years ago, which is no doubt probably 660 years ago and 6,666 years ago. Anyway, the devil and the worship of the flesh. Now, it's really interesting how the duality is being set here, because remember, Jehovah can't exist without Satan. Well, in fact, if you go to the book of Isaiah, Jehovah says, Yahweh says that I created evil for my own pleasure. Now, this is the same cat that likes the burnt flesh smell, man. That's all I got. Now, listen, I like a barbecue. It's just, a little different. And he asked the question here. He says, and it's actually very, why is it that the human race cannot live in peace and thus enjoy the blessings and bounties that God has provided for our use and pleasure in such abundance? Now, the context of the question is fine. It's this, then again, we get confused in here. Okay, God, this is the same God that has punishment. This is the same God that cursed mankind, cursed woman, I should say, and then cursed the earth. We got to keep it in context. So he believes that everything is run by Lucifer. This is the Luciferian revolt right against God, the supreme authority over the entire universe. Now, I just went there and showed you the great avoidance. And do you really think that this is the same God? Is Judaism all over the universe? Is that what we're dealing with here? Or better yet, how about the make-believe character Lucifer, which this poor man who was so indoctrinated could never have figured out? And it's so simple. There was no Lucifer, never was. It was an invented name by the reprobate Jerome, the forger himself. But we don't like to get into truth and reality. It's much better with the fantasy. So let's go on with the fantasy. So it's God and Lucifer. Now, it's interesting here because how he brings this out. He says that Satan arrived in the Garden of Eden to cause our first parents to defect from God. It's sad that this man never lived long enough to realize that we discovered something in the Iraqi desert called the Sumerian tablets that predated any Hebrew by nearly 2,000 years. So what was this God's name then? Oh boy. And was Lucifer there? Did Enki and Enlil in the Sumerian pathos, are they God and Lucifer? Are they Jesus and Satan? Enki and Enlil? Look into it. You might be shocked to find out yes is the answer. But anyway, I'm going to go into, because I'm not going to get into all of this. He really gets into, the Illuminati, the Masonic whole order, and how that these are, in fact, Lucifer has become a part of this takeover of humanity. Now, I often wonder in Cataclysm, so how far did Lucifer get in the last time? How far did it get? Did Jesus really come back? I mean, the last time humans were here, we were here before. We've been here many times, apparently, before. I just want to know, how far did this play, this Shakespearean play out? I mean, did it really come down to that? When the last vestige of humanity and civilization breathed? So all the things here is about Lucifer. Now, he gets into the fact that, well, it's a little bit of a debate. Is Lucifer Satan, and is Satan the devil? And how does it play out? Because, you know, Lucifer was apparently God's right-hand man, but Satan came along. Well, because Satan is Lucifer's prince. But then how did Satan come around? Did Lucifer have sex? Did he get it on? Mm-hmm. Let's get it on. And did Satan come around as that? I mean, got to ask these questions. Now, if you look at the Mormons believe that Jesus and Lucifer are brothers. So who was God getting it on with? I don't know. Because, we're not supposed to think at those kind of things. That just makes it ugly. And, but it gets interesting because we know that humanity has supposedly been brainwashed. Yep. Now, I would almost have to agree with this, just not in the way that it's in the context of here. So this is the WRM. This is the war machine. It's the mentality. And again, it continues to get into this, but I wanted to bring in some interesting terms that this book applies into the genre of who Lucifer, who the demons are, because these demons, they're evil. And you don't want to mess with the demons because they're evil. They bring bad things. The problem is, as I have expounded, that Lucifer is not Satan. And when did Satan get a promotion? How can any of this exist? You can't show me in the Bible where Lucifer ever harmed the hair of one human being, but I can show you where the Christian God killed billions. I have never seen Lucifer ever command a human to make a sacrifice to him, but I can show you the Christian and the Bible God and the Islam God, the Muslim God, all have sacrifices, but I can't find it for Satan. Can't find it for Lucifer. But yet somehow when we're born into this thing, it's almost becomes, well, don't you know, Steiger, that's just the cultural norm. Well, screw cultural norms. All right, so here's how they define the universe. The universe means the totality of existing things, including the earth, the heavenly bodies, and all else throughout space. Thus, we see that the universe includes heaven and hell. Okay. Hell can't be in the earth because that would then make hell earth. You see how this gets ridiculous? If heaven and hell exist, then they have to be planets. They can't be realms of space. And again, hell cannot be in the earth. Otherwise, earth is hell. All right. Heaven. Heaven is the abode of God. The supernatural beings we call angels, and the spirits of the righteous who enter heaven after death terminates their period of trial on earth and or other planets. Now, this is interesting. Now, this is really heavy Christian dogma, but it's important that we include this into this study, because much of demonology originates from here. And if you don't know how it originated, then your assumptions on that which has already been accepted will most likely always be wrong. And it screws with you. You start talking bad about yourself. You start thinking bad things are coming at you. Why? Because you're being punished. This is a trial. Whew. Is that sick? Yeah. And he goes on and explains the whole thing of the word heaven means that part of the universe in which supernatural beings we call angels and the spirits of those who have proved, all caps, that they wish to love, honor, obey, and serve God voluntarily resides for all eternity. Well, let me just tell you, if you're serving anything, whether you're forced or voluntary, you're a slave. That's it, plain and simple. This is the slave master mentality, and that carries over into Satanism, demonology, and Luciferianism. Oh, it permeates, because then you're going to tell me, but Wayne, we got the Christos message. Listen, folks, when are you going to grow up and realize that if this Christo message existed at all, then it came from a murderous, demented deity that calls itself God? Now, who is trying to lead who and escape from what? Because the Christos is nothing more than the warden's son. Oh, I know I'm going to get some thumbs down on this one. Hell. Yeah, because humans are really good at it. I hope you go to hell. I hope you rot and burn in hell. Go to hell, you SOB. You see, we're really good at it. We love casting curses on people to go to hell. Why, you hear it everywhere. And hell can mean heaven. Hell can mean hell. Hell can just be, oh, hell. The hell, you say? I mean, the vernacular today completely pulls it out of context of what it really means. Well, that's a hell of a thing. So what are we saying? But anyway, this is the part of the universe in which Lucifer and the angels who defected from God at the time of the heavenly revolution reside, together with those who defected from God during their period of trial served on this earth and possibly in other parts of the universe. So I like the dude in one aspect of it, and he's all inclusive, man. And what he's implying here is that hell is in a region of space. Now, this has got all sorts of weirdness connected to it. I mean, think about it. And oh, by the way, I think I need to probably go back up here. I think I missed one part I wanted to show out, because he does bring up some very interesting points. Excuse me. No, I won't go back. There was a guy who was really shunned in the Christian community. His name was Dake. Actually, I still have his Bible. And Dake's theory was that when he went through, particularly the Old Testament, what he found evidence was that man did not originate from here. But in all likelihood, it appears that man originated in another planet. Now, Dake believed that Jupiter was a planet that was brought in here, that at one time in one of the moons where we came from. Some theorize that when there was a collision between the Sagittarius A galaxy, dwarf galaxy, and the Milky Way, that this is where we originally came from. So and it's interesting, because even in the book of Isaiah, it talks about an earth that had no men in it. And that's what it said. There was no man on earth, but yet there were mighty cities. Well, if there's no men, no humans, then who the hell built the cities? You see how I just put that? Well, who the hell built the cities? Well, no, I'm confused, Steiger. Are you saying that hell is that? See? Anyway, so it's real interesting how he goes through here and brings up the aspect of this galactic battle. If you listen to it, it's almost like there was this huge battle. Again, you have to ask yourself, if heaven, or this place that's called heaven, where, Lucifer supposedly was at God's right-hand side, and in fact, it says in the book of Isaiah that he stood inside the firestones of the Godhead. which tells me that, you see, there is no one singularity of a God. It's pretty deep because, well, no human's been there. And I don't know what the Godhead stones were, but apparently this creature was able to stand in the middle of that energy. And again, it kind of says, well, if the creature was created perfect, then where would be imperfection found? Well, the answer to that is pride, but even that is argued. All right, so let's continue on. Limbo and purgatory, because remember the whole thing of hell, and as King pointed out, you begin to rationalize it out and extrapolate it out. It has no purpose. It loses everything because, listen, I know what it is to be beaten time and time and time again. After a while, yeah, it still hurts, but you become almost kind of immune to it. It's the same way. I know women in their times when I've been in counseling that come and have been in abusive relationships. And the question I've asked many of them at times is that, why? Well, they love the person. And one person told me, because eventually you don't feel it. So hell, in the construct of what the Bible has teaches, it's impossible. But anyway, let's go and see how this works, because this is where the demons are at, apparently. So you have this limbo or purgatory. Many who profess the Christian religion don't believe that there are any in-between places where souls may serve a further period of trial or purification after termination of the period of trial on earth in order to prove that they deserve the beatified vision. Man, this is messed up, man. Whew. It is seriously messed up. Again, you can't answer me the question, because if you're saying it's through the fall of one individual, then this God is whacked out. You punish a whole species, and then it doesn't say which species. Are we talking sapiens? Are we talking Neanderthals? Are we talking Cro-Magnon? Or what are we talking about? Who is being punished? What trial and what species? Did the genus of Neanderthal have a different trial than the sapiens? Well, we're not supposed to ask those questions. Anyway, they are perfectly entitled to their own opinions on this matter. My personal, this guy says, is that the scriptures indicate that there are other worlds in which spirits undergo further periods of trial to decide their ultimate and final fate. Now, this is really interesting, because now we're getting into the extraterrestrial aspect. Is that where all the spirits go? Maybe there is no light. Maybe this is really nothing more than what we would call a wormhole. Maybe this is nothing more that once you enter into it, you are literally taken across the galaxy, maybe the freaking universe, and you start your incarnation once again. It says the fact that absolute knowledge regarding this matter has not been revealed to human beings is a blessing. I don't know about that. That means you're saying that ignorance is the best state of being. I don't agree with that. If we all knew that there were intermediary stopping off places before we arrive in heaven or hell as our final destination, we might not try hard enough to earn our eternal reward while on this earth. What pisses me off about this is that this is a slave mentality. There's no sovereignty here. There's no being of a free will. Listen, if you're telling me that I only got bucket A or bucket B to choice, that's not free will. That's forced coercion. Let's talk about Lucifer. Lucifer, this greatest of all angels. So now we got immortals that are called angels, okay, created by God, challenged his creator's right, all caps, to exercise supreme authority over the universe and on all and in it. Yet he mentioned only once, he's only mentioned only once in the Holy Scriptures. And again, Isaiah 14:12, throw it out, rip it out. The King James Version. It's amazing. But anyway, because if you take that word out, you find out that Isaiah was talking about an earthly king. Oh, crap. That takes out the whole, juiciness of this story. And then there are two other places where it seems reasonable to suppose. Now, you see, this is the problem you get right here. This is not science. This is not even sound theology, sound doctrine. There are two other places where it seems reasonable. Who's reasonable? You just told me that we're all groveling to be able to show our worthiness to a God, and now you're telling me that we have the right to be putting words into God's words? Oh, that's heresy. Yeah. Doesn't exist, folks. And this proves it right there. The guy didn't realize when he was writing this that he proved that there is no Lucifer. So if there was no battle in heaven, or was there? Who led this? I don't think we know. I don't think we're ever going to know, because it was no Lucifer. It was no Satan. It was no 200 angels. Brother and sister, I'm telling you, we don't know. And they're not going to tell us. Why? Because this keeps us divided. Well, by God, I can tell you, for I know and this is exactly what you get. Then you get people get all uppity. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm just not going to listen to this stuff anymore. That's not the way I believe. All right. So who the hell are you? Don't you realize none of us got it right? Fired up today, people. Satan. Now let's get into Satan. Satan, I mean, this dude, whatever it is just gotten a bad rap. I mean, just from day one, because Satan is a small s, right? It's never a capital S. It was after Jerome and the Catholic Church got in there, and you can read this in the Latin version of the Bible, and you find out Satan just means accuser. But they liked it because they took that word that was originally in the Hebrew, accuser, and then they transfer it over to the accuser of the brethren. And now we got a big S. Okay. The scriptures use the word Satan quite often and tell us about his evil purpose and works. He is, as the word implies, the adversary of God. That's not what it says in the book of Job. This is a damnable lie. And this is why I get so tight when I see what this is the mind spell that you deal with out there. So anyway, Satan is invariably associated with Lucifer. Most Christians accept the fact that Lucifer and Satan are one and the same supernatural being, commonly referred to as the devil. She's a devil in disguise. I've met a few of them, and what a night. Anyway, those who have directed the Luciferian conspiracy upon the earth have been very definite in pronouncing the doctrine that Lucifer is God. Most likely is. And Satan is his prince of the world. Well, then that would make Satan Jesus. Lucifer is actually the Jewish God, Yahweh. Lucifer is the Elohim. It's how they got you, folks. There is scriptural support for the belief that there are 5 or more other worlds over which Lucifer placed princes and several others, in addition to claiming that Satan is the eldest son of God, Adonai, and the older brother of Jesus Christ. Also claims that Jesus Christ is one and the same person as Saint Michael the archangel. They claim that when God decided to inhabit this earth, Lucifer made Satan prince of the world. This claim is confirmed partially by the scriptures, which refer to Satan as prince of the world, not Lucifer. Lucifer is not in the Old New Testament. Never was. Doesn't exist in the Greek. But isn't it interesting here? And the reason why I highlighted this is because this has got more truth in it to what this man was even beginning to realize. I mean, the whole construct that we're studying in demonology is that there is the evil. We can't seem to be able to pinpoint who, what, and why the evil is even here. But by all reasoning, folks, and I have done this, I've done videos on this. I painstakingly showed you each part in the Old Testament. The only God, Yahweh, the Jewish God can be is Lucifer. Unless that this God of the Bible, the Old Testament particularly, is the evil entity that has deceived the world by being perceived as the savior of the world. Because what we have seen from its fruits has been what? Death, disease, war, poverty, lack. None of these can ever be scripturally or otherwise attributed to Lucifer. If Satan is the prince of the world, then he owns the world's money. The whole system he owns. That's why my Steiger perspective said last week, is the Biden administration satanic? Bet your ass it is. Because if you change the context now, in this little paragraph, it changes the whole paradigm. Again, you can't show me in the Old Testament where Satan or Lucifer ever commanded a human to harm another human, commanded another human to worship them. There's only one God that has done that. It is the biblical God who taught man abortion. Don't believe me on that one, huh? Do you? Go to the book of Joshua. You see how this, if we make it out sane on the other end of this journey, it's a miracle. Because this is what has happened. It just depends on how you look at it. And so let's go to God. God is, in this context, in this reality, is the supreme being, creator of heavens and the earth, the universe. God is known as Jehovah, but this form of address dates only since 1518. Now, what happened in the year 1514? Does anybody know? There's a 30 to 60 second delay. Does anyone know what happened in the year 1514? Well, I'll tell you what happened. It's called the Great Schism. It's when this one religion divided. So now you have a name that has basically been made up. Jehovah. The name of God by the human race in pre-Mosaic times was Jawa, sometimes spelled Yahweh, meaning creator. God the creator is also known as Elohim. He's wrong on that. It's a species known as Elohim, but that's all right. But it is interesting to note that after Moses had been given the commandments by God, the fact that they forbade any person to take the name of God in vain caused the religious leaders of the Jews to substitute the word Adonai or Adonai. This is the word used by the high priest of the Luciferian creed when making any pronouncement or defining any dogma. What did he just say here? I look at this and I read this and I said, is this what is he saying what I think he's saying? Yeah. Who are the high priests? There's only one reference in the Bible, in the Old Testament, a high priest. Now, in the book of Hebrews, in the New Testament, and in the book of Revelation, it mentions it. But primarily, the high priest are those who serve Yahweh. Now, there has been great debate among many theologians that Yahweh just may be the asshole that we all think it really is. Wouldn't it be a real mind coitus if humanity realizes the last 2,000 years? Oh, folks, on the other side, we're going to kick some ass. We are going to kick some ass. That's all I got to say. Now, I'll finish out with protocols. I didn't even get near what I wanted to get done today. Anyway, the word means originally written draft and the plan designed to achieve a definite objective. The protocols of the Luciferian conspiracy were written as soon as human beings had mastered the art of putting their thought and intentions regarding the future on parchment or other suitable material, so they could be preserved for information of those who came after them. The Luciferian conspiracy to prevent the human race from putting God's plan for the rule of the universe into effect upon this earth is so that a totalitarian Luciferian dictatorship may be imposed on all. Folks, we're already under it, have been for the last 2,000 years. When are we going to wake up to this? This is what it's saying. Look at it. Prove me wrong. Show me any benefit Christianity, Judaism, Islam, or even any religion has benefited man. We've been under this guise of commandments. And in here, he's saying that this God cannot execute its plan until humans do it. Well, wait a minute. I thought we were the slaves here. What do you mean preventing the human race from putting God's plan to rule the universe? Wait. God's plan to rule the universe? Isn't he already ruling it? If he's not, then he sounds like an invader. Oh, folks, I hope you're getting this. We're going to stop right there. This is, folks, prove me wrong. You can't. We have been under an illusion that where we thought that we had a religion that was the answer, it was actually the opposite. It was always designed to keep us away from where ultimately we were bound to be. We should have been so much further ahead, folks, 2,000 years, and we haven't developed at all. We haven't done anything spiritually. We've regressed. You want to talk about a doctrine? Ronnie, you're right. Inversion. Yeah. I mean, I studied, and folks, my stuff is out here. But when I couldn't find anything attributed to harming humanity through a being called Lucifer, you got to go, well, wait a minute. What's going on here? What I have seen 66 years, I've seen a religion that was the most diabolical I had ever encountered, and I was deep in it. And it's never helped humanity. Never. It separated us from the very beginning, as it was designed to do. There was no unification in that, none at all. Submission. All right, folks. Surprised I didn't get more thumbs down. I mean, this is heavy stuff, but folks, we're just laying it out in a study. I mean, we're going to get more into it tomorrow. We got Miss Trina on, but Wednesday we're going to pick right up, because it begins to now pull it out. So if we can begin to determine exactly what the evil is, maybe we have a little bit better control of it. Because I think ultimately that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to control both elements, both good and bad. Maybe that's the tightrope. I don't know. I don't know what they do on other planets. How do I know? Joyce, you're welcome. It has been a lifetime of it, but it has been a lot of fun. This particular God is a deadbeat. Exactly. Is the now. I want to know where the damn check is, you know? I want my money back from all the years I tithe. Folks, I tithe near over 7 figures. I want my damn money back with interest. Bible says if you catch a thief, you can demand that they pay you back sevenfold. I want my money back. I helped Kenneth Copeland buy a freaking jet. I mean, what the hell's wrong with it? Lynn and I have helped build, churches. I mean, it's crazy. Curing cognitive. All right, folks. Listen, we're all on our own journey, and I'm excited that y'all are part of this journey. But in the end, we all make our own realities, our own thing. And then when we get on the other side, we'll find out. I doubt if it's what it's been taught for the last 2,000 years. We know that's not the case. Maybe we are in fact awakening and coming out of the slumber and looking around like Neo did out of the machine. I mean, going, oh shit, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. That's kind of the attitude I have. And D. Maxwell says, I want my money back now. Yeah. I actually asked an attorney, could I sue these churches for false advertising? But the problem is, when you're a part of it, you have no legal stand because you gave willingly. But I contend under false pretenses. That's all I got to say. You're welcome, Jules. Paul Jones, Robin Hood. No kidding. Yes, I'm telling you. IS and Hermetics does say that all paradoxes can be resolved. I agree with you. Listen, if Jesus was real, I dig the character. But folks, do the etymology of the name. Humans in human history have never changed deity's name. Tutankhamun. Look at all the Mayan gods. I butcher those every time I speak of them. If Jesus Christ actually lived and actually is a deity of a title, you don't change its name. It never changed the word Joshua. It never changed the word Isaiah. Never changed the word of Habakkuk. So why all of a sudden did they change the cat's name and now make it a name that, listen, the Dutch made a mistake. They took the I for Jesus and they replaced it with a J. Thank you, Isby. I'll take that apple. And the story of the Virgin and the Blessed Savior goes back to pre-Egyptian times. This is reality. And, I have no qualms of people following a false deity, but if Jesus is your cat, maybe you ought to have enough respect and call it whatever its name really was. I'm just saying. Okay, I'm out of here. All right. Etymologists don't apologize. That is absolutely true. Well, I'll tell you what, a smart group here. Okay, everybody. Much love, Guy and Paul. Love y'all, all the moderators, Joyce, and everyone else. I hope this has been fun. This is how learning has. Don't have to agree with it. It's cool, but that's where we're learning. Sally, good to thank you. Appreciate that. Shannon, appreciate that as well. It's fun, folks. I love coming here and spending this time and sharing. And, like I said, I'm just going like everybody else. Hey, Steiger, what do you see up ahead? I don't know. I hear some water. It sounds like rushing. Maybe we ought to pull the canoes over. Let's check this out. Nina says, want to join the discussion over on Discord. Excellent, Nina. This is a good discussion. It really is. And thank you. All right, Monkey Experiment. Appreciate it. Folks, like I said, much love to all of you. I love your minds. You are an energy source that is ever revitalizing all of us. So